the one time. It's the family bloodline.
What's good people? We back one time for the one time. It is the Family Bloodline Podcast with your boy Bruce and J Glass, the movement. I'm trying to check and see if we're gonna have a third man hop up. You know, as always, it's always a pleasure to see if he hops up. But tonight is going to be a interesting topic, I think, to say the least. To say the least. But before we hop into that at all, as always, man, how's your week been so far?
Megan, listen, this week's been excellent, man. Fantastic. Thanksgiving was amazing. I was in this perpetual cycle of eating, laughing, napping, eating, napping, laughing, right? It was a beautiful cycle, man. Got to see my mom's side of the family. I hadn't seen them in years, man. And I'm going to tell you, this year, the winner of the Thanksgiving dish, my aunt made some type of miraculous potato mixture. I don't know what it was, man. Some people say shepherd's pie without the crust. I don't want to like say it's just that. It was greater than that. Bruh, that was the dish of the season. No lie.
Okay.
Hands down.
All right. And you said this was like a shepherd's pie.
People say it, but it was dry. Shepherd's pie is it's wet, right? It's wet. This one wasn't wet. It was a perfect mixture between like wet and dry. It was light. It had some meat in it, man. I said, what's the recipe? She said, boy, shut your mouth. I said, ooh.
Ooh.
So that's where we at.
Oh man, Chris hopped on TikTok. What's going on, my brother? He said, "Ooh, look who it is." That's funny. Yep, me and Coleman back at it. So what about you, Rich? How was your Thanksgiving? What'd you do?
It was good. I went over to our friends and I didn't overeat. And you know, his wife is fighting cancer.
Oh hell!
Yeah. Wait, say what?
I say my friend's wife is fighting cancer.
Fuck, man. Yo, okay. How far along is she?
I think it's in remission.
Okay.
Yeah.
Still a dangerous time. Still very tricky there. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but we had fun. We laughed and we talked, and you know, it's not like being back in St. Louis for Thanksgiving, but hey, that's okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, Chris said, don't ask Deuce about a recipe. Still ain't had no mac and cheese.
Bruh, man, I'm getting tired of this cat right here, man. Tell him I'm gonna see him when I get out there. We taking a trip to where's Chris at, man? Wisconsin, Idaho, North Dakota, huh?
He back in Missouri. They're back in Missouri now.
Yo, we taking a trip right now on my to-do list, man. We're gonna talk about that. We're taking a trip to Mizzou.
And he said Thanksgiving even passed. He still ain't had the mac and cheese. That's hilarious. So my Thanksgiving was spectacular. Actually, I was we were childless. Somewhat because things didn't work out the way they were supposed to on my end. However, I must say that he said at this point it's a myth. But I must that this is the first Thanksgiving in a very long time that I didn't cook.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So
okay.
she laid it down.
Mhm.
She laid it down. I
Hey,
must have.
between the three fellas, man, because we know how magnificent your skills are in the kitchen, right? I mean, you're almost up to my level, but hey, um, I don't,
Yeah, that was hilarious. That was a great joke. Hold on.
I don't even
No, give me a
have a sound
second.
effect. Now you got to find it.
Yeah. No, not that one.
It-
I'll find it. I'll find it.
that,
I,
dude, that was like a year late. But what I want to ask is, between the three of us, right? How was her cooking?
how was her cooking?
Hmm.
Oh, she gets down. She gets
All
down.
right, 1 to 5,
Like,
scale of 1 to 5. What you give it?
oh, easy 5. Easy 5.
Nice. Okay.
Yes.
Hey, wink your eye if it's a little lower, bro.
No, hey, no winks
Okay.
needed. No winks needed.
He
It's
came
the
through.
yeah. Yeah, I didn't know what to do with myself. Usually I'm smoking a turkey or making my greens or whatever, but
Yeah.
it was all her. It was all her.
Nice.
I did. Only thing I did is I made a little giblet gravy, and that was it.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, little gravy, and that was it.
Rich don't
So,
know about that anymore, man. Out there in California, bro. In the Republic. In the Republic.
the Republic of California. You got to get out of there, Rich. That place is gonna fall into the ocean soon.
Oh.
Don't say that, Glass. I might be
You
out
know
there
what?
soon, man.
They've been saying that about California for years, and maybe one day it will. You know, I'm not a scientist. I don't even talk about stuff like that because I ain't smart enough. So,
Oh man, I do a little dabbling and reading, and anyway, yeah, that's another topic for another time. Um, so I got up this morning and I was listening to that wasn't
Congrats
this
on getting
morning.
up.
I know, right? That's a feat in of itself.
That's it,
Without
bro. Listen, it takes
yeah,
me a minute. It takes me a minute.
I Chris said hopefully California does. But I was listening to one of my favorite morning shows, and lo and behold, they were talking about uh the famous, yay, even infamous Rudy Giuliani.
Yeah.
And they were talking about his lawsuit. So I'm not sure
Mm.
if y'all are familiar with the lawsuit that he had that used to be pending against him. Have y'all kept up with that at all?
In passing, until you text me about the topic, I did some digging into it, but I kind of forgot about it. I thought DJT and his whole crew was getting out of there like Young Thug. Um, but apparently some people didn't make it.
All right. Yeah. What about you, Rich?
well, when you text me the topic, I've kept up with it off and on because it kind of relates to what I'm going through.
Yeah.
From what I can see, this is, he was convicted in a federal court, which is a great thing for him.
I
Uh, because
Okay.
now Donald Trump, when he takes office, he can give him a full pardon.
Yeah.
So
So, yeah.
so maybe I don't. Well, it's not maybe. I'll be blunt about it. I am not up on the nuances of having to be pardoned in a federal court for defamation.
Yeah. So I'm looking here. It says in December of 21, they
Hmm.
sued him for falsely accusing them of manipulating the votes in Georgia.
Yeah.
And this is a political situation. Whether he was right or whether he was wrong, this is really more about politics. And they were mad at Donald Trump for January 6th. And so anybody that was supporting Trump and talking about election fraud, which ironically, in the state of California, once you get a driver's license, they automatically send you a registration to vote. So if you can come up with a driver's license in the state of California, you can vote whether you're here legally or not.
Is that right?
Oh, yes. Yeah, they send you an automatic registration to every person who's a licensed driver in the state of California.
It kind of negates the whole show me your license before you vote thing.
Not on that aspect. What they do is if you come to California and you get a driver's license, they want you voting because they're hoping you vote Democrat. So they want to get you the voter's registration and you sign up to vote. And so in the state of California, as it relates back to Trump and Giuliani, there is election fraud in the state of California. Now, allegedly, what Giuliani was saying was some of these voting machines were not counting correctly. And that's a big old deal because I think Fox News said it. They got sued by Dominion, and Dominion won.
Yeah.
No one's been able to come up with any proof.
You know, at this point, I don't know. Like I was telling someone earlier, sometimes people are telling the truth, sometimes they're not. It appears to me that people have gotten as good as the CIA. They take the truth, they mix it with a lie, and they throw it at you. Now make a decision. You don't know what to think. You don't know who's telling you the truth and who's telling you a lie. You just don't know. So I just know in the state of California, there are people voting who probably should not be voting because they're not legal citizens. That's a straight up fact. That's not me being going against the Democratic Party. That's a fact.
Sure. And so with that being said, has anything come out about any type of voter fraud in California on that aspect? Because I know that there is a bit of a separation to where there are certain people who can vote in local elections, but they can't vote in federal elections.
When they send you a voter's registration in California, you're voting in everything.
Okay.
So the Republican Party in California they're not like the Republicans down south or in the Midwest. So they're more like Kevin McCarthy when he got ran out of the speakership.
Yeah.
He's really intelligent, really articulate. But is he a hardcore go-get-em Republican? No.
No, he's a liar.
Moderate Republican, huh?
Yeah, he's a moderate Republican, but he's also a flat-out liar.
Well, and then so if you're saying, well, he tells more lies than the other politicians in office, he tells substantially more lies than the other politicians. Okay. I mean,
his pivot is ridiculous.
He's good.
McCarthy, oh my goodness.
Yeah. He's a history buff too.
Yeah.
So when you start talking to him, he'll take you deep into those weeds. But from what I see with this Giuliani situation, they said, we told you to stop defaming. You thought you could defame maybe because these two women are African-American women. So you thought you could just get a pass.
Mm-hmm.
And this is in the state of Georgia. So he has to pay the money. He claims he doesn't have any money.
Hey, that's okay. They clapping up his possessions. Huh? They clapping up his possessions. Yeah.
And so go ahead.
So, my question is, rich people don't put stuff in their name. They put it in a trust, asset trust, offshore trust. They don't allow you to come for their possessions. Now, some of the stuff that he's kind of given up, maybe he didn't have that stuff in a trust.
Like it's Ventures Benz.
He probably didn't think he needed to. But all the money he's made over the course of his life, I have a hard time believing that he doesn't have any money hid somewhere that you can't get to, that you can't touch through bankruptcy or you can't touch through a lawsuit. But I'm not a lawyer who's an expert in how to hide money legally. Because if you look at a lot of stuff on TV, they'll tell you, well, we're part of this corporation. And then as they tell you, then the corporation has a holding company. So even if you got to the company, you couldn't get to that holding company who really controls the shots. So you have layer upon layer upon layer of protection. And so what I'm having a hard time believing is a former associate U.S. attorney, third in the DOJ years ago, coming from New York, oh, they know how to hide stuff.
Sure.
So I have a hard time believing that, he doesn't know what he's doing. I don't know.
No, he knows
Yeah.
what he's doing. He just got caught up. He got complacent, and he thought that he was going to be okay, right? Because he saw President-elect Trump getting off and getting things wiped out. And he figured, well, I'm riding on those coattails, so I'm going to be a part of that also.
But he
And so
started that
clearly,
Hey, Glass.
denial.
Hey,
He started that denial before Trump
before
won.
y'all dig too deep into it, I just want to give a summary for those that may not know what we're talking about. So then we kind of just jumped into it, right?
Okay.
So we're talking about the 9/11 hero, Rudy G. Once, there was a magazine article that billed him as America's mayor. I remember that.
yeah,
I was down for Rudy G back then, man. I thought he held it together. So the once celebrated America's mayor, Rudy G, now finds himself in a series of legal battles that have drastically tarnished his legacy, right? Because he was up here and now he's here. So he lost a couple of them to the tune of $148 million defamation judgment for falsely accusing Georgia election workers. And he's also being disbarred. Can't be a lawyer anymore. Not that he was, I don't know what he was doing later in life. So Giuliani's fall from grace it could be a cautionary tale about accountability in the age of disinformation. It could be, for some, it could be deemed as targeting. Depends on what side of the fence you're on. But today we're going to unpack and talk about the events and some of the outcomes of that case. So just to let the viewers know, Rudy G lost this round. We know there's appeals. We know there's always appeals. I don't know which court did this.
I'm glad you said it. I gotta go back to it.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure this is in the federal court.
It is.
That's why. Okay, so that's why I said when Trump is sworn in, you're going to really find out who he likes and who he doesn't like.
Oh, so that's so that was my question. Because
Okay.
after he lost, there was distance between Trump and Rudy. You didn't see Rudy and Trump in any places
Right.
together. Trump didn't talk about, they didn't talk about each other, right? And now that Trump's back in office, he didn't pick Rudy. Maybe because Rudy was already going through. I can't even say that because the people he picked were already had legal battles going on. So I can't even say it's because of this. So my question would be, how tight are they?
Well, first off, they got to be tight still because Trump still owes Rudy what $2.53 million in legal fees.
Hey, well, Trump would be like, bro, you owe 148 million. What's my 2.5 mean to that? Or for this pardon, that pardon's $2.5 million. What's up? I can see him doing that.
But here's the thing. He was arguing on behalf of Donald Trump, saying that the election was stolen.
He was.
So all those people who argued, who kept Donald Trump was going to be relevant anyway. But all those people who stood by his side, Steve Bannon said, I'm not giving you anything. I'm not admitting guilt on anything. Send me to prison. Here's the funny thing about this. I have to respect European Americans on this note. There are some European Americans, they say, we don't care what you say. This is how we feeling and we ain't budging. Now, sometimes you're from the Deep South. Sometimes you're from the East Coast. Well, how can I criticize them for saying, I strongly believe in what I'm saying and I'm not backing up? How can I criticize them without criticizing myself? Because I'm the same way. If I don't think I've done something wrong, I ain't apologizing for nothing.
I think there's a huge difference, right? And the reason why is because of your impact, the impact and influence of your conviction and what you're going through versus their impact and convictions and what they're putting other people through, right? Because they know listen, I understand the game that they're playing. They know what they're doing. And I have to know that they know that they're wrong. But their convictions will allow and lead people to do other things. And so if they know if they buckle and they break, then the people that they were leading or pushing, they've lost them at that point. So
Yeah, but because he was so adamant, Steve Bannon, Rudy Giuliani, Paul Manafort, because they stuck to their guns, whether they were wrong or whether they were right. Because we can't hold them responsible for saying, we want you to say that you're sorry, when they say, I'm not sorry, I didn't do anything wrong. Because we just reelected, the country just reelected a person that was accused of creating panic on January 6th. And he says, I didn't do anything wrong. And I still say the 2020 election was stolen. And he's never backed off of that. He's never backed off the Eugene Curl. And she said, you raped me. He said, I ain't raped you. You ain't my type. He's never backed off his words.
I mean, it's worked for him, obviously, but that's not a verdict of truth, man. There's been times where his claims have been vehemently uh, renounced, and there was evidence that showed the opposite. He still won't say it, bro. He still won't say it because he knows what works for him, right? And so like this defamation case, and at first I was like, oh, how can Trump be president if Giuliani is going down? But then I recognized it's defamation. It's not about the tampering part. It's about slurring these people's names. Giuliani was saying they were passing USB drives around like vials of cocaine, is what he said. And then when he's in court, he had the opportunity to present his evidence. Him being a former prosecutor, he knows the process. He had none, right? So
but he's been but that doesn't. I said he's been disbarred, but that doesn't negate the fact that he's a former prosecutor.
Still a former prosecutor, yeah. But to Rich's claim, man, Donald he's like a one-trick pony, man. He's like, man, let me not say that, but he's a one-trick pony, man. You know exactly what you're gonna get from him, and it's worked for him. It's like Tyson back in his heyday, bro. He's gonna catch you with that right. What are you gonna do to stop it?
So, Thad is born in June, and so am I. So we're June Geminis, and we can spot another Gemini a mile away. If you think you're going to guess every time what me or Thad are going to do, you're going to be dead wrong every time, because we're not going to leave no trail for you to follow. We're going to change it up. Donald Trump is a June Gemini, and that's why when you talk about him, sometimes he's lying, and sometimes he's telling the truth. You just don't ever know when. Now, Rudy Giuliani is a May Gemini going into June. So he's not full-blown like me and Trump. So he's tricky as well with his craziness. People say, I don't get too caught up in the zodiac. I'm telling you, when you're born, when the sun and the stars are aligned in certain locations, that's God's ultimate creation. So dealing with Trump, you're dealing with a very intelligent and hard to figure out person. Because look, when he appointed Matt Gaetz, I said, don't back off that appointment. Let's see how much strength you have in that Senate that's controlled by Republicans right now.
Wow. Okay. Right. I don't want to go down that rabbit hole. I know we're not.
Okay. So what I'm trying to say is,
joint.
if he was really so crazy, he would have told Matt Gaetz, you ain't going anywhere. I don't care if you slept with an underage girl or not. I'm Donald Trump. He fooled them. He didn't do that. But if he was so upset about a situation and he wanted somebody in there, he would have told those Senate Republicans, you're going to pass this person or I'm going to act a fool. But he didn't do it this time because you don't know exactly how he's moving and grooving. He never lets you know. So he's constantly coming at you 100 miles an hour. But when he gets ready to make his major move, Bat knows this. A June Gemini will never let you know their major move. They're going to be talking, telling you what they're going to do. But when it's showtime, you don't know until you've been hit by one. And that's how Trump is.
Yeah. So just bringing it full circle, Giuliani is not Trump. He doesn't have the same grandiose rhetoric, right? And I think part of that is something that he was again riding the tail of President-elect Trump's name, and people simply thinking that he's one of Trump's guys. I think he got again complacent and ended up putting his foot too far in his mouth, right? To the tune of $148 million.
Right.
Right. $148 million. And next thing you know, he's having news conferences saying, well, I don't have the money. He's got other assets that are tied up in other litigations. So some things he can't even part with, he can't sell. And then this Judge Lemon, he put more holds on him. He was like, you're not to sell any of these properties, right, until we give you the go ahead. But you're going to give up that place in New York,
The penthouse.
right? The penthouse in New York. You're going to give up that Mercedes. You're going to give up your watch collection. You're going to give up your Major League Baseball MLB rings that you got from when you were mayor and they won the rings those 3 years. You're about to give all that stuff up. Matter of fact, ladies, once I give this to you, you have to sell these things. You need to liquidate this stuff expeditiously. So we see how much you get. That way we can total. We can keep track of how much he still owes.
Here's the con. I've never known someone coming from Europe and their descendants to give up anything. So if he's given up 9 rings or 18 rings and they're worth, I don't know, 2 or 3 million, that ain't where the real money's at. Wherever that real money's at, he's not giving that up.
Wait,
and I'm not going to let the news media.
That wasn't his choice to give up, though. It's not like Rudy was like, take the dirty mattress over there in my guest bedroom, right?
Right.
Granted, they probably went in and did like a inventory of everything. Here's my question to you guys. I don't know what they initially sued for. I'm assuming that Ruby and Wandra.
Yeah.
I thought it was 148. It went down to 146, but okay.
That's 148. But the thing is, that's a large number. All right. Keep in mind that before this, Giuliani filed for bankruptcy to the tune of over 500 mil. Right. So he's already saying he doesn't have any money. But why so much for a dude that's claimed bankruptcy? Do you guys think that they're trying to send a message?
Yes, it's political. And here's the thing about that. Y'all, this is why I said he'll keep fighting. The only thing he has to hope for is that when Trump is put in on January 20th, as long as Trump doesn't go out anywhere before January 20th, Trump can knock all that off and he'll protect all his money. Because remember
it's a lawsuit.
That's my question, because the judge ruled on it. So can he?
It's federal. It's federal.
I know it's federal.
No, it's a civil case though. It's not a criminal case. So
it doesn't matter.
Presidents can pardon. No, presidents can pardon criminal cases. They can't pardon a lawsuit, a civil case. This is different.
Let me look that up, because the president of the United States can pardon you criminally or civilly. So hold on, let's look that up. U.S. president pardon power.
Because that would be something new to me, and I was thinking. So his lawyers are saying that they are going to come back around and they're going to fight it and so on and so forth. And I think they're trying to fight it and hold things off. So when President-elect Trump does get sworn in, maybe he can do something. But I am not sure about the powers.
Presidents can only pardon federal criminal cases. This is a civil lawsuit.
I want to see
the president can't go in and undo.
I want to see the link that says that. I want to see the link that says that, because I'm reading something else here. They say he can pardon on everything except for cases of impeachment. So maybe I'm wrong, but
so the president has the power. So let's very amateurly play this out, right?
Okay.
So Rudy Giuliani is at 146 that he has to give up. Now, the rings are also being tied up because his son is saying that his father gave him those rings, but there's nothing saying or showing that he gave those rings to his son. So let's say that the monies have been actually awarded, right? They won their case, and they begin to liquidate these assets, right? So the things that they won have been liquidated and turned into cash.
Mhm.
How then does that actually? How would the president at that point go back and say, "Well, no, you have to give him
Because
the"?
I'm not talking about the stuff that's already been liquidated. I'm saying once President Trump gives a full pardon, everything comes to a stop. So everything that happened before then, so that's why they keep trying to delay and delay and delay. Because it
Okay.
says here, according to Ex parte Garland 71 US 333, the president's authority to pardon is unlimited except in cases of impeachment, extending to every offense known to the law and able to be exercised either before legal proceedings are taken or during their pendency or after conviction and judgment.
That's interesting. So I
No,
don't.
I'm not.
No,
We
it's
got
not
to
interesting.
share. We got to review these links and probably come back later because I'm reading something
So I can't
different
type this
also.
because I would send you this thing. It says ex
Share,
parte
share
Garland.
it.
So EX space PARTE space Garland GARLAND comma
So
71 US 333.
are you using your phone for this, or are you using a computer or an iPad?
Yeah, I'm on the laptop while I'm talking to the phone.
Oh, okay. Okay,
So
so
I'm
you
on the
can't.
laptop, and then I go to your Facebook Live to see people's comments. I go back and forth while I'm looking into the phone, talking to you on your podcast.
Deuce, what are you using right now?
I'm using the computer. I'm trying. So I was on a website that was protect democracy, but I'm trying to find one that has a .gov suffix.
So give me that web link again, real quick, Rich.
Oh gosh, it's I'm just reading this heading. So I think it's the Wikipedia federal pardons link. I'm just reading what it says.
Yeah.
So hold on. Yeah, it talks about federal pardons in the United States. Wikipedia.
Okay. And what did you search? What did you Google or search to find that?
I put U.S. president pardon power for civil cases.
So, okay. Federal pardons underscore in the. Okay, so I see what you're talking about. According to Ex parte Garland, 71 U.S. Point U.S.33, the president's authority to pardon is unlimited, except in cases of impeachment, extending to every offense known to the law and able to be exercised either before legal proceedings are taken or during exactly what you just read. Okay, I see exactly where you got that from. Then looking a little further, where it says, and here is your .gov that you were looking for, Deuce. I'm about to pull it up.
All right.
And for instance, the president.
See, I see pardons not extend to state offenses, civil judgments, or administrative penalties.
Man, this is huge.
I see
All
that.
right.
I haven't seen where a president issued a pardon for a civil case.
So I'm going to pardon power, and I am on a .gov, Article 2, Section 2, C1,
Clause 1.
overview of pardon power. The president shall be commander in chief. No, the president shall be. That's just for military portions.
Oh, now on that Wikipedia, it says the president's clemency power extends to all federal criminal offenses, except in cases of impeachment.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I keep
saying
seeing that extra line of criminal,
right.
not civil.
But see, in another part, it was saying that the president has the power for everything except for except for in cases of impeachment. And then it says the full extent of the president's power to pardon has never been fully tested. Well, it's getting ready to get tested. According to ex parte Garland, the president's authority to pardon is unlimited, except in cases of impeachment, extending to every offense known to the law and able to be exercised either before. So,
but hold on, Rich. Before, let me just interrupt. I see that, but then on this website that Glass was on, it says much later the court wrote that the broad power confers in the Constitution. That in the Constitution gives the president the pardon power, but it starts to limit it later on in there.
I'm looking at in Article 3, Section 1, inherent powers over contempt and sanctions. And I'm trying to go further with this, but let me try to go.
I got it right here. All right. Let's see. I don't want to read this whole. All right. Despite the breadth of the president's authority under the pardon clause, the Constitution's text provides for at least two limits on the power. First, clemency may be granted by offenses against the United States, meaning the state criminal offenses and federal or state civil claims are not covered. Because it's offenses against the United States.
But he was convicted in federal court. That's why I said he can get off.
But hear me out. But it says the second line, meaning that state criminal offenses and federal or state civil claims are not covered.
And
what it's saying here is it hasn't been tested yet. It's going to get tested with Donald Trump. I guarantee you.
I can agree with you on that part. I can absolutely agree with you on that part because it has, like you said, it hasn't been tested. So we don't know the full length and breadth of it. We don't know how it's going to play out. And plus he's got the Supreme Court on his side to actually write the verbiage that he would want.
Here, let's go back to when Colorado wanted to keep him off the ballot. Because the way they were interpreting the U.S. Constitution, that's why I don't mind when Deuce disagrees, because we're not lawyers, but I can guarantee you there's lawyers vocalizing our viewpoints on TV getting paid. So when they try to keep Trump off the ballot, they said, oh, we got him this time. And then the U.S. Supreme Court, here's where it got political. They said, the way we're going to interpret the U.S. Constitution, he was never an officer and blah, blah, blah. So he goes on the ballot. But what they were really saying was, if we don't put this man on the ballot, we could have a problem. And this could be a political situation. And that's why all 9 justices unanimously said, put him on the ballot. Because they were afraid we was going to lose the country, which we still may. So, you know, a lot of times we're looking at laws and we're trying to interpret these laws. Depending on that person's political party is how they're going to interpret things.
Yeah,
it's true. But I also wonder, like in a criminal case, right? You're getting sentenced to some type of confinement, whether it's prison, whether it's prison or house arrest or some type of parole, right? So that's ongoing. President comes in, boom, can stop it right then, right? A lawsuit, it's a one-time. It's like kind of what Glass said. It happens. How can the money is doled out, or at least the judgment's been made? How can the president come back and then pardon a lawsuit?
We're gonna find out.
You're right. He's gonna. So my question to that is, how? Back to my first thing, just how cool are Rudy and Donald?
Well, my thing is, Donald Trump, you want people to be loyal to you. And the Democratic Party has said, you're never loyal to the people who were loyal to you. And so the Democratic Party has been demonizing you on this. Now you get your chance to show your loyalty to those who backed you up. Because Steve Bannon went to prison because of you. Okay? All the January 6 people did all that stuff. They didn't do it correctly, but they were there because of you. You. So to be honest, when you're sworn in on day one, what you should be doing is saying, all you January 6 people who had my back and everyone else who had my back who didn't go to January 6, if you get any jail time, you're getting a full pardon. That's what he should do. And he shouldn't be saying, well, we'll have to do a case by case. No, I don't want to hear that. if I'm a Donald Trump supporter and I went to the Capitol and acted a fool on behalf of Donald Trump, I want to be let out of prison immediately. And that's what he should do. But let's see if he does.
Yeah, no, he can't. He can't. As I continue to read this, Article 2, it's Article 2, Section 2, Clause 1, right? The first paragraph talks essentially what Deuce was saying about the criminal aspect of it. And it begins to talk about Garland, another case. And then it begins to say, despite the breadth of the president's authority, and you read this already, despite the breadth of the president's authority under the pardon clause, the Constitution's text provides for at least two limits on the power. First, clemency may only be granted for offenses against the United States, meaning that the criminal offenses in federal or civil claims are not covered. Second, the president's clemency authority cannot be used in case of impeachment, right? But we knew that part. So the biggest thing that like Deuce was saying, so I will have to agree with Deuce as far as this paragraph right here is concerned, is that does limit. That does limit.
Wait, we're at clause 1 or clause 2. Are you seeing that? What section?
Yeah. So it's Article 2, Section 2, Clause 1, and it's the second paragraph. Despite the breadth of the president's authority under the pardon clause. Now, the previous paragraph does state that the president has a broad range, right? And that was issued by the Supreme Court at the time. However, continuing, despite the breadth of the president's authority under the pardon clause, the Constitution's text provides for at least two limits on the power. First, clemency may only be granted for offenses against the United States, right? But these were offenses against people. These were offenses against people, not the United States. All right. And then meaning that state criminal offenses and federal or civil claims are not covered.
Wait, you're in clause 2, right?
Yeah. So it is again Article 2, Section 2,
Clause 1.
Clause 1.
Wait a minute.
Clause 1.
So you're okay. Hold on a second. Let me go back up to the top here. So you're in Article 2. Article 2.
Yep.
Clause 1.
No, Article 2, Section 2, Clause 1.
Okay, hold on. Let me go to Section 2.
I wish more Americans would do this. I'm just throwing that out there.
Okay, Section 2. Right. It said Section 2, presidential powers, and then Clause 1.
Yeah, Clause 1.
Okay. You got to read the whole.
Yeah, it's
a good portion of it at least.
Power. Yeah, overview of pardon power. And it starts out, the president shall be commander-in-chief of the Army and Navy of the United States and of the militia of the several states when called into the actual service of the United States. That's how it starts.
Yeah. So where'd you see that? Was it in the first paragraph or?
So the paragraph outside of the italics, the paragraph that I'm reading starts, despite the breadth of the president's authority under the pardon clause, the Constitution's text provides for at least two limits on the power.
I don't see that. I'm in Section 2. I'm in Clause 1. The president shall be the commander. The president shall be the commander in chief of the Army, Navy, blah blah blah.
Right.
And I go down to the next. Okay.
The next paragraph starts, the Constitution establishes the president's authority to grant clemency, encompassing not only pardons of individuals.
No, wait. I don't see that. I don't see that in the Wikipedia thing. I see.
Clause no, we're on the actual website.
Yeah, we're on the actual .gov site. We're on the actual .gov site.
You know, it got me thinking about how did Biden pardon Hunter, because Hunter was facing criminal charges.
Right.
Hunter was facing tax evasion. I think and illegal firearm possession, which are criminal.
So you're at the U.S. government for Constitution, correct?
It's constitution.congress.gov.
Yeah.
Constitution.congress.gov. Constitution.
That's how. So Biden could protect Hunter from that, but if someone comes out and sues him for whatever, there's nothing he can do.
So I'll copy it and I'll paste it in the StreamYard link. Oh, I guess that didn't. Constitution.congress.gov.
Gotcha.
And so the continuing paragraph says, beyond textual limits, certain external constitutional and legal considerations may act as constraints on the power. For instance, the court has indicated that the power may be exercised
Hold
at any
on. Wait. Let me catch up to you while you're reading this. Hold on a second. You're in
Okay.
Article 2, Section.
Yep. Article 2, Section 2.
Okay, wait a minute. Section 2. Okay, go ahead.
All right. And so I was just reading the paragraph under. So I'll start at despite the breadth of the president's authority under the Pardon Clause, the Constitution's text provides for at least two limits on the power. Hey, Juan. First clemency may only be granted for offenses against the United States, and that's what's going to limit them in this case. That's what's going to limit the president's power in this case, because this isn't against the United States; it's against individuals. So he won't be able to do anything to help Rudy out from his seat. And that meaning that state criminal offenses and federal or state civil claims are not covered. Second, the president's clemency authority cannot be used in cases of impeachment, right?
And even Newsweek is saying the same thing, that Trump cannot grant Giuliani a pardon from his two civil lawsuits.
Yeah, he can't. And that, again, I'm glad we hashed that out, because I think that's a very important piece for us to read and understand what happens going forward, or what's going to try to happen. But I do still agree that they are still going to test that.
Oh yeah,
I'm telling you.
Yeah.
Oh, hold on, give me a second. Let me pause for the calls real quick. Let me shout out my cousins. It's their birthday. The twins is what they call them. Happy birthday, cousins. Rounds of applause. Yes, they deserve that.
I'm still looking at this, and I just cannot see this. So you were in Article 2. Article 2.
They get Ruth Chris tonight. Birthdays, double birthday.
So you were in Article
Ruth
2.
Chris.
I'll copy and paste. It might be easier for you to Google.
No, I'm in the Constitution. That's what I'm trying to figure out. I'm in Article 2, Section 2, Clause 1.
Well, so it's also court rulings on that also, right? So they took the Constitution, reviewed it, and so from the website that Glass listed is also including different court cases.
Right, but I'm looking directly I want to look directly in the Constitution. I don't want to look at prior court cases, because sometimes the court backs them up and sometimes they do something just the opposite.
Wait, but you gotta include that though.
No, I understand that. But I want to go to what the Constitution says, because if the Constitution leaves any kind of leeway, I don't care what they've done in the past, they can change it, because they did an amendment for abortion, then they reversed it right back 40 years later. So that doesn't mean anything to me. I want to see what it says in the Constitution.
The reason why this lists out the actual case law for now, let me say this. I agree with you 110% that they are still going to push the limits of this portion. All right, we're still dealing with a person who says that he is okay with doing away with certain parts of the Constitution. I just want to throw that out there. Right.
Right. So when I'm not looking at prior cases, I want to look at the Constitution, and it says he shall have the power to grant reprieves and pardons for offenses against the United States. If you're convicted in federal court of a crime, we're gonna say criminal for a second. You can be let off for that, because that's what Biden did for his son in a federal court.
Agreed.
Okay. So now, can you be let off in a federal court for a civil crime? From what I'm reading here in this Constitution, it doesn't make any exceptions. But you guys are going to case law. But as we know, case law can be one thing. They did a case law saying that separate and equal was good, and then later on they came back and said, no, it's not constitutional.
So from the Constitution, what you just read it again, and I'll tell you why I said why I'm where I am.
I'm in Section 2. And he shall have power to grant reprieves and pardons for offenses against the United States.
And that's
except in
why I
cases
asked
of
you to
impeachment.
pause. The reason why I ask you to pause again is because it's saying against the United States.
Again, did Joe, his son, did he make a crime against the United States?
So yeah,
Because it
so
was in federal court, and that's how he got the pardon. It was in federal
Well, yeah,
court.
it's tax evasion, and he violated the illegal gun thing of both laws of the United States.
those are
Okay.
laws against the United States. But
This is
All
a
right,
defamation lawsuit.
Right, but anytime you go to a federal court, it's against the U.S. Anytime, I don't care if it's criminal or civil, when you go to a federal court, because when you go to a federal court and you get convicted of a federal crime, you don't go to a state penitentiary. You go to a federal penitentiary.
yeah, but again, I think the jargon and what lawyers might argue and fight is that again. So I do agree with you, right? That when you're in federal court, generally speaking, especially the prosecutor is usually acting on behalf of the United States. The prosecutor in this federal case, however, is acting on behalf of two individuals.
Yeah,
it's not
that
against the
makes
United
sense.
States. But
Yeah.
generally speaking, I agree with you 100%, Rich, because yep, when you go to federal court, you've committed crimes against the United States. I agree with you on that 100%. 100%. But this for their specific case, and this is why I think Rudy might be stuck, is they have individuals present. They have individuals present who are actually in the courtroom.
That's two levels right there. So one, we're disagreeing on whether he gets your pardon for a civil suit, right? So that's one layer that's in dispute. But the other one, Glass pointed out, the prosecution, which represents the U.S., is on the side of the victims, not Giuliani.
Yeah, so I think they are going to be okay with getting that money.
You know what? I don't think so. Because I'm looking at this from a political perspective. So I went to Trump's nonsense. And so it says on his civil cases, he can't get out of those civil cases by pardoning himself out of those civil cases. All those federal cases will go away. And now they finally admitted that Jack Smith was appointed illegally. But anyway, back to these civil cases. These were state cases. He can't pardon himself from state cases. See, and these are civil. But they had been federal civil cases. He could have got out of it.
I still say no.
Well, you know what? I think we're gonna find out here in the next 6 months. I think we're gonna find out, because I can guarantee you, if you think Giuliani giving up a couple baseball rings and a Mercedes, I know he's got a lot more than that, but you ain't getting to it, and that won't make the paper. Because what happens is, if you tell people that this person was able to successfully hide his most valuable assets, you know what you're telling Tyrone in the neighborhood? I don't have the right lawyer for my assets right now. And that's why they will not let that out on TV, because I know what I'm going through personally. That's why I kind of look at this and I say, they're not telling you the whole story. They're not. And they're not going to, because they don't want too many Americans.
What part you think is missing?
I don't know. But my gut.
Go ahead, Richard. Go ahead.
Yeah, my gut tells me this man, see, he was flow showing, saying, I'm not afraid of any courtroom because I am a former prosecutor. You can't intimidate me.
Yeah.
I come from the Southern dip. Yeah.
He went so far as to actually say, yeah, I said it.
He ain't backing up.
He didn't. He said, I said it. But what I think they might do is, I'm reading this as I continue to read this down towards the bottom. Here's what they might try to use to do this. And it would be some slick shit, right? But this continues to say, Congress generally cannot substantively constrain the president's pardon authority through legislation, as the court has held that the power of the president is not subject to legislative control. Congress can neither limit the effect of his pardon nor exclude from its exercise any class of offenders. The benign prerogative of mercy reposed in him cannot be fettered by legislative restrictions. Nevertheless, there is historical precedent for legislation facilitating the exercise of the pardon power through funding of executive branch positions to review clemency petitions. Congress also has other constitutional tools that it may use in relation to the president's pardon authority, provided the legal conditions associated with those tools are met, such as oversight, impeachment, and constitutional amendment.
Listen to this. Donald Trump's civil cases in state court that he can't get out of, he can't pardon himself out of. If his lawyers are able to successfully get it to federal court, and he gets up to the United States Supreme Court, if they decide to hear it, now it's in a federal court. Now it's a federal issue. And now if the federal court says, well, we're not going to overturn this verdict, okay. But once it gets to federal, if it gets to the United States Supreme Court, these civil cases against him will get overturned. Because here's the thing. People keep saying, well, we got a 34-time felon. I think that 34 times came from the, was it the E. Jean Carroll, the 34? Or was it the financial fraud statement where he got 34 times for felony conviction?
Yeah, it was a fraud.
Okay, so you can't encourage people to say, hey, you can be the president of the United States and have a felony, but yet you can't go down here and work at this company because they don't hire felons. You have to clean that up. So you have to exonerate him and clean all that off. And that's why all these federal cases against him are gone, because he had to win that election or he may have been in jail. So
why is it? No, because why is it? Why you say why did they say they change it?
They're dropping all the federal cases now. They did it without prejudice.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so they can bring them back later, but they're not going to.
But they only dropped it because he got the Supreme Court to say that he can act with impunity. No matter what he does.
That's on another issue. That's on another issue. I'm talking about the election stuff. So that was
only dropped it because he won.
That was him getting on the ballot in Colorado, because Colorado did not want him on the ballot.
Oh, you're talking about the Colorado thing.
Yeah, and that was a strong message. The Supreme Court get a 9-0 decision because they couldn't do a political decision. It was a political decision because if you went 5 conservative and 4 liberal, then you're basically doing a reflection of the country. And then they'll say, well, it was a political answer. So all the justices had to say the same thing to keep the unity of America. Had nothing, it had something to do with the law, but it had something more to do with keeping the country unified, period. With this situation, if you say you can elect a president and he's a 34-time felon, you got to get all those felonies off his record for the sake of the country. Because now you can't tell Tyrone he can't run and be the United States president because he's got all these drug felonies. You can't do that. You put Donald Trump in, but he said he was innocent the whole time. Well, Tyrone feels he's innocent. So for the sake of the country, you got to throw all that stuff out. So you can't say you elected a 34-time felon. You can't say that on America. No, you can't.
Not, and I don't disagree with that, with where you went with that. But what I will have to disagree with you on is, and I just lost it. Dang it. Crap. It was something that you said earlier. It'll come back to me in a second. Golly. But I think Ruby and Shay, I think they will be able to celebrate this win. And I know that Rudy's lawyers are going to try and tie it up. That's why the judge has been so harsh with saying, if you wanted to maintain any of these assets, you had the proper time to remove them or to have them pulled into question when that time has passed. I'm no longer hearing that. Oh, that's what it was. I don't know if Rudy's thing was so much political. You know what? I just thought about that. It did have some political undertones to it.
It's all
The,
political.
the consequences are absolutely political because the jury went above and beyond.
Listen to this. If Rudy Giuliani had tried to hide his assets, then they would have came for him on that issue. So which one? First you say, well, hey, you had a chance to protect your assets. But if he had protected his assets, then you would have came back and said, you're hiding the assets. You don't want to pay these two ladies their verdict. So what's he supposed to do? This is, I know this trick. I'm going through it firsthand. I know this trick. I know this.
Okay, yo,
But
just going back, did some more research.
Okay.
So difference between because Richard's bringing up the point about the federal thing. So you can get this federal civil and federal criminal, right?
Mhm.
So federal criminal cases are covered under U.S. Criminal Code. So Title 18, U.S. Code, things of that nature. Civil
Okay.
cases are federal statutes, right? Or congressional provisions, regulations, right? That falls under civil. Defamation is not part of the U.S. Criminal Code. So that's why it's that's another categorized as civil, and then there's a lawsuit, right? So that's where it is. So going back to Glass, what you were saying, that still fits within the Constitution. Yes, Congress cannot restrain the presidential pardon, but the Constitution states crimes against U.S. government, which U.S. Criminal Code, Title 18, things of that nature.
Gotcha.
So even still, yeah, the Constitution limits it. Now, to Richard's point, they'll get creative, like how they're trying to get creative with the budgeting. They're saying that Congress can divvy up the funds, but that doesn't mean that the president has to dole out what Congress agreed to. No one's ever challenged that since, I think, who was his idol from back in the day? One of the first 4 or 5 presidents. I can't think of his name right now. But yeah, it's been that long since the presidents went to single those.
I thought it was Jackson. I thought it was Jackson.
Andrew Jackson, yeah, that's who it was.
Really? What did? Well, I know he stopped the central bank. He didn't renew the charter in 1836.
I didn't look into exactly. I just know he didn't agree to dole out the money that Congress allocated.
because he didn't trust the banking system. See, yeah. He has this rich history of being extremely racist. Had a large plantation, but he was against the central bank, big time. He didn't renew the charter in 1836. They hated him for that.
Mm.
That's another issue.
But speaking of people who's hated, how do y'all think Rudy G's gonna bounce back? Can he bounce back from this?
Well, how old is he again? Let's go to his age because he's like 70.
Like 187, 250.
no,
his face looking like he about 400, bro. Face looking like the Undertaker. I already got him. His body gone. We just looking at his shadow.
No. Oh,
he got to be in the 70s, man.
So he's 80 years. No, he's 80 years old. Here's the thing about this. Some people support Trump, the others hate Trump. So you pick your option, what you want to do with Trump. So Giuliani picked to support him. He picked correctly in 2016. He didn't pick correctly in 20. They threw a fit. Maybe they got cheated. Maybe they didn't. Maybe there was a little bit of cheating. Who knows? So he did all this talking on behalf of Donald Trump, whether Donald Trump asked for it or not. Because he didn't go against Donald Trump. He never has.
He was Donald Trump's personal lawyer. I think Donald Trump very well asked for it.
Okay. Fair enough. Great point. That's a great point.
Yeah.
So he did all this, all the protesters who didn't protest peacefully, they did it all on behalf of Donald Trump. Matt Gaetz, Kash Patel, all these people fell in line and said, we with Trump, win or lose, because we think he can win this. They were correct. So all of these charges against Rudy Giuliani, throw them out, because this is all a political thing.
You can't. No, No,
I,
man.
I,
This is
I can't agree with you on that
mm,
because like it again. So does it have political undertones? Yes.
yes.
Um, is the amount warranted? I can't say no. What I can say is what these women went through. They still went through death threats.
Okay.
They still
Yes.
had their lives uprooted.
Okay.
Right.
Yes.
Still lost wages because of what he did and what he said directly.
Mhm.
Right. So was it an egregious outcome? Possibly, quite possibly. Um, but that's that's where he is at this point. Unfortunately, that's why I can't just say throw it out.
Mm-mm.
The country is not convinced, half the country, or 49.5 or 49.8, half the country is not convinced that all this stuff against Donald Trump and his surrogates was not political. Regardless
Sure.
of what you tell them, they're never going to believe it. Because our country has lied to us from the very beginning, telling us that we're America's leader, we're the world's leader. Who
Yeah.
made us the world's leader? So we've been lying to our people. They brought people over here telling them they weren't any good and they'd be slaves for life. So this country has a rich history of lying to its people.
But yeah,
And
I
Donald
mean,
Trump also has a rich history of lying to people too. So I don't think that absolves him of that.
at all.
That's
Okay.
nah.
All right.
I
All right.
but I do agree that the amount of money is very significant. I think the amount portion, I can agree, is definitely political because of who Rudy is. But also, he did. We don't know fully what Miss Moss and Miss Freeman had to endure. But like Glad said, loss of wages, death threats. I'm sure. I'm sure. But going back to another point, man, you were saying that Matt Gaetz and the other surrogates were right for following Donald. It reminded me of something that the the world's smartest uh, representative, Marjorie Taylor Greene,
Oh my goodness.
Okay.
hey,
Oh
Einstein herself. This is on video. She was doing an interview, man, and
my
she said, I'm paraphrasing, America made their statement, America made their point. They agreed to everything Donald Trump said. Congress's job is to step aside and approve
eh,
any and
yeah,
everything that he
yeah,
wants to do.
yeah.
I think America, a portion of America, voted for Trump off of the campaign promises.
Okay.
As we know, for varying reasons, once they get in office, things change. Whether they want to or not, Congress is a thing. I don't think everything that he says should just be signed off with because the American people said, yo, we want you for your campaign promises. Now, that
But
same base that voted for him, when he starts to veer, Congress is like, this is the man they appointed. Let him do whatever. I don't think that's correct.
no, because we're no longer acting within the due bounds of the American experiment. Right?
Yeah,
There's no more democracy that we're looking at. At that point,
right.
we're acting under uh, a monarchy, an oligarch,
Yes.
a
No.
dictator,
Well,
taking
wait a minute. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. So
authoritarian.
listen, she was taken out of context. I'm not trying to defend her. Let me
Just
explain this.
Rich, I want to hear this, please.
Yeah,
Come on, man. Teach me something. Let's go. Let's
listen.
go.
Hold on a second.
Okay.
If he thought he was a monarch, then he wouldn't have backed off Matt Gaetz, but he did. And now he lost. Oh God, who was the other person that was going to be the DEA? And then that sheriff down in Florida, he backed off. So if
Yeah.
Donald Trump was going to run Renegade, he would have told him, "I selected you. You're not going anywhere." So he's not going to run Renegade. What she was basically saying is the people heard all these things about him and all these court trials, and they said, "We don't believe it. Put him in and let him do his job that he's campaigned on." And that's what she's saying. Let that man do his job that he was elected to do. Congress, particularly because both houses are Republican, they should be backing him up 1,000%. That's what she's basically saying. This man was persecuted or prosecuted, however you want to look at it, and he still beat all of that. Because when I'm looking at this case
He
with the
didn't beat it. He didn't
Hold on.
win
Oh,
the
yes.
cases.
Check this out.
I think the proper word is escaped.
Hold on a second. Okay. So he escaped. But
Yeah.
see, when I say escape, I think of the enslaved African escaping and running to Canada. When I say him coming from Europe, he beat the situation. So I want to go back to this Letitia James with the Judge Ogeron. By the time they did all the money and damages and interest, they said $450 million for the financial statement fraud. This is going to get overturned in the appellate courts, or it's going to go up to the United States Supreme Court. And it's going to get overturned. He's not going to pay not one dime to none of these people. Now, that's him. But
well, okay, he's in a special case because the Supreme Court also said, hey, bro, you're immune as president. That's not a presidential act because he wasn't president.
Not for this.
So that's going to be interesting how that plays out.
That's all going
give
to
it
go
that.
away. All the federal cases, they're done. But this financial statement fraud for $450 million that you don't hear nothing about anymore, and he's in the First Department of Appellate Division. They were raising questions about the property judgment and all that. They got in the appeals. Jesus. This is a PTSD. Court of Appeals granted a special stay, and he had to post a bond of $175 million. And then they raised a question about the property of the judgment and all that. He got his stay of having to pay that judgment. See, I asked for a stay. They told me kick rocks. See, that's why sometimes when I say certain things, I'm being touched because I'm going through it personally myself in a civil matter. And when I try to stay my case, because I said I didn't do anything wrong, and let's go through the appeals process, they said, nope. California rules say, nope, we don't have to wait. I went up to the appeals court and asked for it. No, we ain't doing it. Pay the money. So when I see certain things, I'm not saying that you're interpreting wrong. What I'm saying is there's the rest of the story. And what I'm saying with Donald Trump, he ain't paying a dime. But Donald Trump, if you ain't paying a dime, and Rudy Giuliani was your personal lawyer, and y'all New Yorkers, then back up your friend. Because if your friend turned around and didn't back you up, you'd be complaining, crying.
It's different, though. Donald Trump is the actual president.
I get that. But
yeah,
if you're
Rudy,
the president and you got reelected, and this this personal attorney from New York, your friend was backing you up. So when they were dogging you in 2010, you lost the election, Rudy Giuliani was out here dripping his black hair dye, fighting for you, Donald Trump. So he fought, he lost in court because of the political consequences, just like you, Donald Trump, except he wasn't the president. You better come and help that man. And you better go and help Steve Bannon and the rest of these individuals who backed you up, that created the momentum to tell the other people, you know what? These people are really supporting Trump. They haven't turned on him. I'm going to support Trump now. So respect is respect. That's all I'm simply saying.
Yeah, and what I can agree on is from this point is Trump rewards loyalty. He rewards loyalty. Sooner or later, he rewards loyalty. And so I don't know if he hasn't said anything or done anything or tried to interact with anything with him right now, but because Rudy was one of the guys who was willing to go out and help find fake electors. He showed that loyalty, and that's I mean, it's a good thing for him, but I think it's a bad thing for the American people, and it's going to be an even worse.
Terrible thing.
Yeah, it's going to be an even worse thing for the people that got his money.
I see when people say that Donald Trump is trying to act like he's some type of king, but he's always negotiating.
With who?
That's a June Gemini. We come across kind of strong, but we're always negotiating. We're always looking at both sides of the issue, but we appear in a different fashion. It doesn't appear that we can look at both sides of the issue, but we always do. And that's why we're always great talkers. And so when people come at us and they try to hit us, they think, okay, I'm going to make Richard act a certain way. And then I come from another direction. You're like, well, wait a minute. Hold on. I thought he was going to do this. And that's Donald Trump. So he's not going to.
This is a guy that's come out and said he's going to persecute the people that spoke ill about him, man. Like, I don't know how that's negotiating, man. And then to Glass's point, he's getting his whole crew up in there. He wants his minions, qualified or not qualified, do
Hold
what
on.
I say do. Because he
Hold
learned
on.
his lesson from the first time he was in office and had to go against the establishment, right? Granted, do we all agree that DC needs to be drain the swamp, drain the swamp? Yes. I don't think this is the man to do it. That's my personal opinion. But some things that he stated on record going against people that oppose them, bruh, there's something that's floating around. I need to research it more. There's something that's floating around, some type of ruling that's going to require journalists to give up their sources,
Oh yes. Yeah.
What?
right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
there's
I don't know. I gotta look who's behind it. I just assume it's Trump and his cronies,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. So my assumption's right. That's a terrible thing, man.
Yeah.
Because reporters, the news out, true reporters, true news outlets are the ones that are supposed to keep these different branches of government honest, right?
Yeah.
Granted, nowadays our news is very much in doubt, but I don't think the answer is making them reveal sources.
Listen to this. This tickles me. Him behind the scenes saying that if you say stuff in the news media, you have to reveal your sources. It's kind of equal to when the U.S. government said to the doctors, "We're going to take your license from you if you don't support everything we say about COVID. We're not going to give you your freedom of speech to speak your own mind." So both parties are whoever's in power is trying to dictate the message of the country. Whoever is in power, it doesn't matter what party it is.
Well, yeah, that's what power does. Power is going to look to control the
And
the
listen to this. When he first went in office in 2016, some of those people didn't really have his back. They didn't believe in what he was talking about. And then when he went through them and got rid of them, they talked a whole lot of nonsense about him. Whether it was true or not, we don't know. Because they never
Rubio.
liked him to begin with. So this is why this is so personal with me. I'm saying in the spirit, I'm putting in the air and I'm manifesting. I will be reinstated as a local 1000 president. And all those people who smiled in my face, that stabbed me on my back at that union, and I got them their huge pay increases.
Don't say it.
So when I go back in there, you say, "Well, who you taking with you?" Oh, I'm taking somebody that I know ain't gonna stab me in my back.
Yeah.
That's real world talk. Now, some people say, "Well, he's just winning loyalists." Yes. When they try to put you in jail,
but here's the thing. Okay, I could agree with you in the context of having people to have your back, get your team. I would assume that the people that you pour from will also be qualified people.
No.
I rest my case, ladies and gentlemen. I rest my case. It must be this early summertime Gemini man
the United
thing.
States of America. Let me tell you something. So check this out. They say, "Well, hey, Rich, we want you to run for California governor," and I win. Fat, where you at? Deuce, where you at? Man, look, I'm drowning. I need some help. And they're gonna say, "Well, you can't hire them." Oh, yes, I am. Well, they're not qualified. That ain't what the voters told me when they voted me in. So, when they keep saying, you don't have the qualifications. How many times have African Americans been told, "You're not qualified. You don't have a credit score high enough"? Well, how can I get a credit score high enough if you don't give me some credit to begin with?
Well, this is what I'll say to that, right? Because there's a difference between being loyal to a person and then being loyal to the person in order to subvert the Constitution of the United States.
Oh my God! Okay,
that's the difference, right? Because he's looking at sycophants, right? He's not looking at somebody that's saying, "Hey, I got your back, but I got to tell you this, right? You are infringing on freedom of speech, so expect this, and happen. We're gonna ride it out. But
you said that succubus?
Sycophant.
Oh,
yeah, sycophant.
Okay, not succubus.
Yeah.
Okay.
Love him.
Say, hold on, man.
I love him.
Yeah, and so
wait, you love the sycophants or the succubus?
Sycophant.
Oh,
Pull
okay.
all of them. And I don't have none
I needed
right now.
clarity.
I don't have none. I need them. I need them. Can't get enough of them.
But that's the danger is that he's riding out with, because they're not looking at the Constitution to make these decisions.
Hold on a second. Check this out.
Yeah.
So when President Biden, Joe Biden, they told him you're not good enough to run in 16. He ran in 20 and won. Told him you're not good enough to run in 24. Maybe they were right. Who knows? So he says back in June, well, no one's above the law, and if they find my son guilty, I won't pardon him. Are you kidding me?
And situations
That's a lie
change.
you didn't have to tell.
Situations change, man. I mean, granted, hold on, wait, hear me out. I fault him for saying that. Because if I'm president, if my son, I'm gonna say everything but that specific statement, right?
That's right.
Now, on the hypothetical, I do believe he might have let him ride out that punishment if Kamala won.
Sure.
Trump speaks so much ill about his political opponents. He threatened to put Hillary and Bill in jail, man. I can only imagine what he would have done to Hunter.
Yeah.
So I think that plays. But I agree with you. He should have never said that.
He should have said that.
I can always tell you who's run for office. I always can tell. See, I can always tell who's run for office because it's really going to test your integrity on what you will say and what you won't say to get a vote. Okay? And you running for the United States of America, you'll say anything to get a vote. We're going to prosecute Hillary. You ain't going to do any of that. That was a hustle.
Yeah.
But I mean, just like these picks, man. So like the black guy he picked for the Urban Housing Authority,
Of
right?
course.
What's his name?
Urban's in his name. That's his trend. Pick the black guy, Urban, black. All right. So this guy, what's his experience, man? Like he played NFL. He was in the Texas House of Representatives and the motivational speaker and the pastor. How can you govern HUD? How can you govern housing and urban development, man? So motivational speaking?
So Pete Buttigieg, what experience did he have to be the head of the Department of Transportation? So we always want to say that black folks don't have no qualifications.
It ain't black folks. I'm just picking that one guy because that's the only black person he has.
Right.
There's
But
plenty
if
other.
Donald Trump had to pick one black guy, we'd be dogging him for that.
But
he wasn't put the Santos. Wait, say what?
Give me 1 second. Give me 1 second because I do want to take back a couple of steps, right?
Yeah.
If I was Biden, if I was in his position, because we're going to actually go talk about this a little more in depth tomorrow on tomorrow's podcast. I would have definitely, because we moved it from Friday to Thursdays.
Oh shoot. Okay.
Oh, yeah. I might be able to do that. That's okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Friday, that's the party day, man. I can't,
it is.
Gotcha.
And so I would have said, this is what I would have said. If they find him guilty, they find him guilty. Okay. And that's
leave
what
it open. Yes, I like that. That's exactly what I'm gonna do.
Yeah. And I will agree with them. If they find him guilty in a court of law, well, then he's guilty. And I would have left it at that.
Wait a minute. So when he had that interview with the guy on ABC, that was June 6th before he withdrew his nomination, before he withdrew from running for president. So he was trying to pick up votes. That's why I said when someone's running to be the president of America, they'll say and do anything. They'll kiss your baby. They'll tell you how beautiful the baby is. The baby can be butt ugly, but they'll kiss that baby and say, "Look at this pretty baby."
That's why I couldn't be. I can't run for that type of position because I'd be like, I ain't kissing that ugly ass baby. You know your baby ain't cute.
You never call a person's baby ugly ass. It's the prettiest baby you ever saw other than your own.
Nah, some of those babies look like straight aliens, bro. Some of the babies were born with an abstract face. Now some babies are born with an abstract face.
Yeah, cover your baby back up. Cover your baby back up.
When we say that Donald Trump's a liar, and then President Biden tells an outright lie that every mother and father who loves their children would never tell. Because you're always going to protect your kids. I don't care how old they get. You'll always be there to protect your kids. Those are your blessings. So he's going to protect his family. Same thing for Donald Trump. Same thing for both of y'all.
Let's not act like the lies that Biden told and the lies that Trump's telling are like on the same level. Listen, I'm one of the people that believes there's a lying scale. Okay. So saying that and then pardoning your son, okay. Saying that, yo, Haitians are eating dogs and cats in Springfield like they going to a buffet.
Foolishness.
Who does that affect?
Hold on.
You know?
I want you to remember this. If you don't remember nothing I say for the rest of my life, when you run for office, you're going to say things that people will never, ever forget.
No, facts.
So
Facts.
when we go and ask Kamala Harris, what did she say that we always remember? We can't remember anything other than her laugh. But with Donald Trump,
I remember her favorite cuss word.
What was that?
What was it?
Motherfucker.
Kamala Harris?
Yeah. Look it
I
up.
didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah,
But with Donald Trump, y'all have a whole list because he stuck his words down your throat. You can't escape him. And that's what June Geminis do. We have a way of saying things that stick it down your throat and you will never, ever listen to this. I told people
Richard, I don't want you sticking anything down my throat, sir.
I told people a couple of days ago, they said that I was crazy. I am a transgendered white man.
Oh my God, I read that post, bro.
Okay?
I read that
I've
post.
been trapped in this black body.
I
have been held captive. I've been told that I'm from Africa. I'm a white man.
You know damn well that transgender doesn't work on race. That's not. You know damn well transgender doesn't work on race.
That's not what
society accepts.
What do you mean? Oh, you're discriminating against me because I'm a white man and I'm trapped in a black man's body? You're demonizing me because I'm a white man?
Man,
you know it doesn't stand up. We know that the society says no.
No, hold on a second. So Billy can be born Billy, and now he calls himself Beth and go use a woman's bathroom. But here I am saying I'm a trans white man, and I've been trapped in this black body from the time I was born. And I finally got to a point in my life where I feel confident that I can express myself. And you're telling me I can't be a trans white man? But Billy can be a trans woman and compete in male sports.
Only affects you. Everyone knows that transism only affects gender in that race. And two, you can't be white because you got on a black hoodie. A white man would never. You have on a cardigan. Where's your cardigan?
I want your
Where's your cardigan?
Because I'm filing a federal lawsuit against you. You have defamed me. I'm a white man. And I want the same respect that a transgendered woman gets. I want that same respect. Because you're discriminating against me because I'm a white man, but I'm trapped in a black skin. And so I'm being double discriminated because I'm a white man. I'm told that my life doesn't matter. That I'm the hate of America. And because my skin is chocolate, now you're saying I'm not good enough too. So I'm being doubly discriminated against.
I read that post. I had to read it about 3 or 4 times. I said, I know exactly.
And guess what?
Don't say somebody. Did somebody fall into that trap?
Somebody was talking to me about the union and they were depressed and they said, we got to get you back in here. And I said, okay, I'm doing everything I can. And they were laughing and talking. But I'm never laughing and talking. I'm always serious. And I said, well, I'm a trans white man. And they said, well, if you're a trans white man, you can be black and white. I said, what? They said, yeah, white men, they create their own rules. I said, you know what? See, you laughing and playing, but you're right. They do. And I said, well, President Trump just got reelected. So if he get reelected, I can be a white man. If they can talk about transgendered, underage people wanting to be getting their gender affirming care in the United States Supreme Court, but you tell me, well, you can't do that. You're double discriminating because I'm a white man and I'm in this black skin. So not only is it reverse racism, but it's double racism.
Jesus Christ.
Okay. So when I run, I want the same respect. So what does that mean? That means when I talk about these emotional issues, you're supposed to say, well, you know, Richard probably makes a great point. I want you to, the way we look at white men is how you should look at me. When you try to say, well, Richard's wrong, I'll tell you if I'm wrong,
The
and I'll
name
tell
works
you
both
how
ways.
to correct me because I'm a white man.
But
So you can claim racism and prejudice on both sides of the coin.
yes. But just remember, DEI is being done away with.
Yes, I would have done away with because the jobs that they gave to those people, those African Americans, that was my job. Because I'm a white man, that was my job. That should have came to me because I'm qualified. You walked right into it.
I don't know why.
Now, that's a deep point that I'm making, though. I want you to get rid of DEI because I'm a white man.
Yeah,
and now,
no,
when I don't want white America to feel like we're losing our numbers, the Hispanic community is going to be larger than us. No, they're not. Because I'm the first trans white man. And when the rest of the trans white men come together, white America, you'll never lose. Because we're standing right by you. Because I'm white, you're white, and this is our country. You're my equal, I'm your equal. I'm just trapped in this chocolate skin.
I don't even know where to begin.
Yeah, I know you don't. Because you see all the different avenues.
Yeah, there's so much. Like, and the bad part about it, the sad part about it, is that we've gotten ourselves as a nation in such a pickle that nobody can call a thing a thing.
And now when you say, hey, there was no cheating in the elections, we really don't know, because I know there's cheating going on in the state of California. But this is the state of California, so the rest of the nation says, well, they're crazy anyway, so we don't count them. Even though we're the fourth or fifth largest economy on earth, we don't care about California. They're not real America. And they're probably right. But I'm a trans white man. So I see things differently. I've been demonized for too long because of my chocolate skin. But I'm a white man.
I'm going to have to see how this plays. You got to see this one through. You got to see this one through.
When I'm reinstated and I go on TV, they're going to say, why did they do all these things to you, Richard? Because I'm a trans white man.
And at that point, I will turn my TV off and take my ass to bed. I won't be able to handle much else after that. That's craziness. That's absolutely crazy. Go ahead, and then we'll get to final thoughts.
Listen. It's not crazy, because for someone to say that me saying that I'm a white man is crazy when I feel I'm a white man, but when Billy tells you he's Beth, well, that's different. Why is it different for Billy and not for me? Why is he better than I am? I don't understand why. Is it because I'm a white man, or is it because I'm trapped in this chocolate skin? Which one is it?
And with that, we got to head over to final thoughts. Final thoughts, family. Final thoughts. Who got it first? I'm going to just hit the button and see who come up. Man, Richard's
hey, only because he's a white man.
Oh, man. All right, listen. Today is December 4th, 2024. It's been a pleasure talking tonight about Rudy Giuliani. Will he have to pay the money? Did he try to hide his money? I don't know if we really know. But I do know this from what I'm personally going through with the court system. Everything they show you on TV is not really how it is. And with that being said, I do hope that he gets exonerated. But I also hope that the ladies that he defamed, that they should get something to substantially change their lives forever. Thank you very much.
All right. Deuce, what you got, bro?
I'm gonna have to go against Richard on this one, man. I think America's mayor, man, it's a lone fall from grace. Pay up, baby. Pay what you owe. You lost this one. You did what you did. You said what you said. It's time to pay up. I think this highlights the remnants of resilience we have left in the federal system. It's gonna be interesting to see what's left of it after this next presidential term. So, hey, my heart goes out to the women who had the guts to see this through. I know it was not easy, so I hope they get every penny of it. I don't know where they're gonna get it from. I wonder how much that toupee costs. But hey, every penny.
Well, just keep in mind, they'll be cutting that 33 to 40% to those lawyers. So.
Ooh, and don't forget taxes.
No, they won't. So the continuation of that is that Giuliani has to pay $89,000+ for lawyer fees for the two ladies.
Yes.
But those lawyers are still going to get more money than $89,000.
That would be the percentage that they owed.
Yeah.
Whatever agreement the lawyer signed with those ladies, and I know it's between 33 to 40%. I know that.
I'm not sure. I just know that in the articles that I've been reading, the lawyers, the Giuliani camp was ordered to pay the lawyer restitution.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
$90,000.
Yeah, but that doesn't absolve the two ladies of the legal agreement they made with those lawyers to represent them.
Sure. Yeah, I can agree to that. I got you. The small print. It's the small print. Yeah. So sorry about that, dudes. It's still your final thoughts, bro.
Nah, man, y'all just trumping on me because I'm the black man. I got it.
Let's not make this a racial issue. Thank you.
I never had a racial issue with 3 black guys on one show. That was my final point, man. I got nothing else. Rich's trans racism thing. I had a killer final thought, man, and I lost it.
You gonna let it come
like
back?
That.
All right. First off, shameless plug for tomorrow's live. Tomorrow we will be talking about how far would you go for your child, all right? And this is on the foundation, based off the foundation of President Biden pardoning Hunter. So how far would you go if you had the power to save your child, right? And the second part of that is essentially holiday grief and how people are dealing with it. And that's going to be on the foundations of, but you know what? Just come here tomorrow and you'll find out. For those of us who will be participating, I'll send you the articles for it so you can look at it and look into it, and you'll know exactly where we're going with that. But I also want to end, my final thoughts are actually completely separate from the topic that we were talking about. One of the things that I want to make sure I get better at, especially in this time of the year, is understanding, is helping people understand that there is an outlet, there is somewhere that they can go, some place that they can talk to when feeling the hardships of this specific holiday season. Right, I put a post up on Facebook earlier. Yep, bills are still happening. Yep, Christmas is still coming. Yes, you are going to have looming unrealistic expectations. These things are about to happen. All right. But what I want people to remember is, just like we made it past this point last year, we can do it again this year. Don't fall victim to those internal struggles, to those demons that can begin to creep in at this time of the year. We're all mourning loved ones, some more than others, right? This is just a difficult time of the year for us to be in. As joyous as it can be, there are those of us who are hurting. And so before you take that, you come to that final conclusion and you stop wanting to be, give it a second, reach out, call somebody and have that discussion to try and help pull you out of that place. You're not by yourself. This stuff is real, and we've lost way too many people from it. So reach out to your family, reach out to your loved ones, reach out to your friends, check on them, especially around, again, this time of the year, because it's needed. It's needed. It's palpable. There's a lot of bad things happening around us, and if we focus on that, we will fall victim to a lot of stuff that we don't need to. So surround yourself with positivity as much as possible without negating reality. So with that being said, those are my final thoughts. And as always, you all could have been anywhere else in the world, but you decided to hang out with us, and we greatly appreciate you for that. And also be the reflection of love that you want to see. And finally, make sure you define yourself and don't allow others to define who you are. Richard has clearly defined himself tonight.
Oh
Sounds
man.
good. Now, tomorrow at 6. Now, I'm a white man, so I'll be on time.
That's gonna be even better. Oh my goodness, I can't wait for that. But
Oh,
listen,
man.
family, thank y'all for coming out. God bless and good night.
Y'all be safe. See y'all tomorrow.
All right now.
All right. Bye-bye.